you go bankrupt. And there's a penalty for bankruptcy. Your credit sucks. You're very difficult to get a loan. Very, very difficult for people to trust you again. You have to earn that trust back. And even then, it's always going to be a stain in your record.
Absolutely. He needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're gonna just do whatever. You don't.
Joe Rogan has taken a direct shot at Jake Paul, saying the lawsuits and fixed fight accusations have permanently damaged his boxing resume. Critics now argue that Paul's flashy record feels empty, built more on carefully chosen opponents and hype than real legitimacy. Even if the legal issues eventually disappear, the perception will not. In combat sports, credibility is everything, and once fans start questioning authenticity, victories lose their impact and records turn into footnotes rather than true legacies. That stain lasts far longer than any paycheck ever could.
There's a price that you pay that is not...
Many are now saying it simply wasn't worth it. The fake fight accusations exploded after the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua bout, with fans highlighting what they believed were strange patterns throughout the event. A major talking point was how Jake managed to last longer against Joshua than Francis Ngannou did, despite the huge gap in experience and power. What was promoted as a blockbuster showdown between a social media star and a former unified heavyweight champion instead triggered widespread speculation, fueled by leaked training footage, unusual betting activity, and outspoken commentators who insisted the spectacle felt more like showbiz than real sport.
What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because, we in the business of boxing. That right there is just, exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight. But yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well too. So, but we'll see. I always say may the best man win, and main thing about it, may those guys go in there and have.
Many commentators have described the pairing as absurd, noting the stark difference in experience, size, and pedigree between Paul and Joshua, with some labeling the event more spectacle than sport. A YouTuber turned boxer with a 12-1 record stepping into the ring with a former two-time world heavyweight champion who has fought elite competition throughout his career. Many commentators have described the pairing as lopsided, with Paul seen by some as a cash grab opponent rather than a valid challenge, further feeding speculation that the event is more spectacle than sport.
Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Dubois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then he got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
Simon Jordan poured even more fuel on the controversy by claiming Anthony Joshua could have knocked out Jake Paul at any moment, but chose not to. According to Jordan, the fight needed to be dragged out to meet Netflix's expectations, not boxing's. He argued that Joshua's power, experience, and timing were so far beyond Paul's level that an early finish would have killed the spectacle and hurt streaming numbers. Instead, the bout allegedly required rounds, drama, and tension to justify the massive platform and global audience. While Jordan provided no concrete proof, his comments echoed what many fans already believe: when big money and streaming giants like Netflix are involved, entertainment can quietly take priority over competitive reality, leaving viewers questioning just how real the fight truly was.
Heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
That's what he will do. I mean, it depends what you think this was. I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step irrespective, I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to.
After the fight, Ryan Garcia weighed in on social media with a blunt and provocative reaction that grabbed attention across the boxing world. Garcia tweeted that while he respected Jake Paul's effort, he also drew a sharp comparison involving Gervonta Davis, another elite name in the sport. In his post, Garcia wrote, "I think Gervonta would have done him worse," suggesting Davis would have hurt Paul more or ended the fight far more decisively than Joshua did. Many experts agree with Garcia, arguing this was never elite-level boxing. Even after the final bell, criticism of the matchup continues, with some observers insisting the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul bout should never have happened at all.
Play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing, and we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year,
Adding to those concerns, Oscar de la Hoya commented on Jake Paul's previous matchup with Mike Tyson, suggesting that the fight may also have been fixed. He claimed Paul paid Tyson to secure a win on his record, pointing out that many analysts noticed Tyson holding back and not fighting with the intensity expected in
My brother beat him. Mike Tyson, done that.
an isolated case, instead implying a broader pattern of staged outcomes throughout Paul's career.
I do believe it was scripted. And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record and it was sanctioned. So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record? For what? For your own personal satisfaction? I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, like you say you want to be, what are you doing?
While Mike Tyson has denied any claims that the fight was scripted, his performance still left many fans disappointed and questioning whether the bout should even count toward his official record. For a fighter of Tyson's caliber, the lack of intensity in his approach was impossible to ignore, leaving a lingering cloud of doubt over the fight's legitimacy.
Some news about how he spoke to one of the Paul brothers and that they had an agreement that no one was supposed to get severely injured and that the fight had to last at least through the 6th round. As I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, it looked like Mike came out a little hot, and I saw him do this one thing where he kept biting his gloves. I know there was a big age discrepancy here, right? Jake Paul being 27, Mike Tyson being 58, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is he biting onto his glove to hold back? Because it looked like he had something there. Even some of the jabs Mike threw, I'm like, he stopped his punch. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if Mike completely exerted himself or he just got really tired.
I don't know about it being rigged or not, but I do feel bad for people who really are invested in the sport.
You wanna know why I also think it might be a bit rigged? When the fight ended, Jake Paul kept calling out other fighters and he kept referencing, you guys need me, you guys need me. And I'm realizing he's meaning his money. So if boxers and people in the industry know that, hey, if we go get with Jake Paul,
During the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, many critics pointed to unusual rules that appeared to favor Paul. Most notably, an alleged clause reportedly penalized Tyson financially if he knocked Paul out early. This sparked serious concern over whether the outcome was shaped by contractual stipulations rather than true competitive spirit.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. Sorry. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read that. I knew it was a setup. Because you know what? Mike Tyson had a lot of open air opportunity to smash Jake Paul. And he didn't.
David Hay offered another perspective, suggesting Jake Paul may be underestimating what it truly means to face an elite-level fighter. Hay noted that Paul could be leaning on past experiences from allegedly scripted bouts, believing he could maneuver through Anthony Joshua without serious danger. However, Joshua has reportedly refused any staged arrangements, insisting the fight be contested as a genuine competition. Hay emphasized that this reality creates a major problem for Paul, as he is now dealing with a legitimate, highly skilled opponent, rather than someone willing to accommodate him for money or publicity.
We're going to go into this fight with Jake Paul with the same mindset. After seeing him fight on a beat on points, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, my opinion is no. I think he feels zero fear in this fight. He's in a unique situation where he's going into a boxing ring with someone he doesn't believe deserves to be there. So is he going to be paying the price in training? Is he going to be getting those early nights? Is he going to be pushing himself in sparring to get the very best out of himself, like he did for the Ngannou fight? Unknown. I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to risk having any hard sparring just in case he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he misses this $75 million payday against someone he doesn't believe will be good enough to be a legitimate sparring partner for him. You know what I mean? So it's a very unusual situation. Very, very unusual. And, you know, obviously all the advantages are in Anthony Joshua's favor, except this one, except the mindset factor. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Him reaching round 3, round 4 is a win, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion. If Anthony Joshua doesn't detonate his right hand or a jab off of Jake Paul in the first 30 seconds, a minute, and put him in problems, you know, some people will feel that he's underachieved or he let boxing down. You know, people don't consider Jake Paul a real boxer because he's got such a big profile on social media and he's got that background that he's come from. But he's dedicated himself to the sport.
Fighting critic Chael Sonnen delivers a brutally honest assessment of Jake Paul's fights, leaving no room for sugarcoating. He points out that when compared to Anthony Joshua, there's simply no contest. Despite all the training clips circulating online, Jake still comes across more as a student than a true contender. Sonnen stresses that the footage only underscores his inexperience, showing someone still learning the fundamentals rather than preparing to face a seasoned former heavyweight champion. According to Sonnen, the gap in skill, power, and ring awareness is glaring, making it clear that Jake is far from ready to take on a fighter of Joshua's caliber.
Because people do this all the time. They'll be real dicks about it. Some guy will look great on the mitts. They'll go, well, the mitts doesn't count. It's like, well, it kind of does count. If I have you working out on the mitts from a year ago, and I have a new tape today, and I can juxtapose those, I actually can see some timing. I actually can see some speed. I actually can see some footwork. I can see some power, and I can compare it. Now, Jake is in a wildly difficult spot. Boxing is unlike, by example, track and field. Track and field is all about personal records. You do not need to be faster than the guy standing next to you. Right? Now you can win and you can get trophies on that, but it's not actually your goal that your coach is working on you with. You just today want to be faster, throw further, jump higher than a previous version of yourself. Boxing doesn't work that way. It is straight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It is 100% comparative to how good is this guy. I understand that. But as human beings, we have to start somewhere. And I think there are many things that are going to be wins for Jake. I do not subscribe to the idea. Now he does. He will not agree with me, but an older version of himself, as he looks back, will see that Chael makes a very fair point. There's a number of things that are going to be wins or not for Jake. Now, Joshua's got one. Crush that man, get your hand raised. That's it. Well, I don't see it like that for Jake. I don't see it like that. And I know you guys don't either. I know you don't, because so many people that are predicting this fight won't even happen. Or that are predicting if this fight happens, these guys are going to be nice to each other. What does this word exhibition mean? Right? There's all these things where you're trying to take away, and you're not necessarily wrong. If Jake shows up for this fight...
Despite all the controversies, real money is still being wagered on this fight, and the betting activity has itself become part of the ongoing debate surrounding the Paul versus Joshua event. Fans, casual bettors, and even some high-profile personalities have been actively placing bets, fueling questions about whether the matchup is a legitimate sporting contest or merely a spectacle. However, Joe Rogan offered unexpected praise after Jake Paul was knocked out by Joshua. He noted that it was genuinely impressive for Jake to survive 6 full rounds against a proven heavyweight monster like Joshua. Rogan emphasized that many critics overlook the enormous gap in experience, power, and ring IQ between a YouTuber-turned-boxer and a former world champion. While the knockout was inevitable, lasting that long demonstrated toughness, discipline, and genuine conditioning, even if it didn't erase the difference in skill.
Great. For someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade, he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
He knocked him
dead.
the fuck out.
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no. That was skillful. So like there's like boxing matches where you see two guys just slugging it out, one guy lands a punch, and yeah, he landed a good punch. What Jake did is he slid back and landed a punch.
Yeah.
It's like the athleticism along with the intelligence, the technique. I'm like, he's not even doing it that long. And he's also hyper competitive, even though he's wealthy.
Yeah.
Like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just
Yeah.
the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired.
You can't get
That's
tired.
the thing is, like, he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out. Because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
You think so?
Rogan acknowledged that Jake Paul showed real toughness in the fight, but he warned that taking shots like the one that fractured his jaw in 2 places can cause serious long-term damage and isn't worth repeating. He stressed that the physical and psychological toll in combat sports often outweighs the money and fame, urging Paul to prioritize his future health over chasing bigger fights. Rogan reminded him that repeated damage carries a heavy price, including potential brain injury and depression, and encouraged him to seriously consider early retirement rather than risking further injuries.
They bomb, breaks his jaw in 2 places. The thing is, I would hope that he recognizes is right now he's doing great and he's only, whatever he is, 28. There's a price that you pay that is not worth it. And that price is a severe brain imbalance that's going to lead you to addiction. That was real damage. The inside of your head. There's a lot of damage going on in there too. If he doesn't have your respect after that fight, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade.